Caroline Poynton today from Bury is recording this
for others.
British Stan about Keir Starmer because he's so woco. He's such a pleb. He bowed down to anything, wouldn't he?
Keir Starmer is so
He's a
out of touch, it's
faggot.
actually so unbelievable. In every
He should
interview that I
leave
hear
like
of
the rest
him,
of
or
them.
in the House of Commons,
Take on
he
David
speaks
Lammy
the
and the
complete
rest of them
opposite
with
what's
him.
going on in this country. He
We took
panders
Angela Rayner out,
towards
she's
the
gone, so
minority.
they've got
He
the other one.
panders to the loudest voices in the room
Panders
that
to
don't
Islam,
speak
why?
of the
Why do
majority
they all
of the country. In today's
panders to
interview,
Islam?
he's talking about racist rhetoric. Let's have a
religion,
watch of this, guys. There's a lot to
change
dive into.
religion.
But first, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button.
Trying to defend
Here you
Ali
can see,
Hassan,
guys.
fucking ass.
Essentially, he speaks out.
And
He
what's all
hits
this?
out in this interview at racist rhetoric, returning to politics.
I'd like to know what this racist rhetoric is, because the only one that's got that is Keir Starmer, the cheeky git. Yeah, that is a cheeky git. And what does that mean when it's not at home or when it's at home anyhow?
The country. In today's interview, he's talking about racist rhetoric.
Yeah,
let's have a watch of this, guys. There's a lot to dive into. But first, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. So here you can see, guys, essentially he speaks out. He hits out in this interview at racist rhetoric, returning to politics, which makes people feel very scared.
Very scared.
This guy here who's asking a question, as a brown person, I've never felt more unsafe in the country I was born in. Let's have a watch of this.
But he feels scared.
I'm HSGP. My sister is
His sister, your mother, this, that, and the other.
Now, Britain is really divided right now, whether that's anti-Muslim hate, anti-Semitism,
Anti-Muslim hate,
LGBTQ+,
meaning
and the working
white
class
hate,
feel really left
anti-English and
behind.
anti-Jew hate, exactly
I've
right.
never felt more unsafe in the country I was born in.
Yeah, I don't feel safe in the country I was born in.
Culturally and emotionally.
I'm English, I'm not British, I'm proper full English, and I don't feel safe as a woman.
Is between
He's a mad selfish
patriotic
git.
national renewal, which is what this Labour government is doing, bringing people together, whether it's partnership working here or across the country, finding those points of connection, or, and this is what I fear, the toxic division of reform and others on the right in politics, where they're tearing our country apart.
No, you're doing that. Turn it round, because Keir Starmer's doing all that.
Divisive rhetoric that, frankly, I
That's
thought
you.
we dealt with decades ago.
We should have dealt with you decades ago.
And it makes people feel very scared.
And we're very scared.
That racism, that division.
Because you're the racist
and we
ones.
have to proudly say
Against the English
that
and the
to be
Jews.
British is to be
British, I'm not British,
others,
I'm English.
is to be reasonable, is to be tolerant and compassionate, and we're proud of that.
Oh.
Keir, don't tell me how to be British, and don't tell people how to be British and what British means. You don't have a clue. There's so much to unpack from that sort of interview, even though it was just a minute and a half. But firstly, I want to start on the point here. And actually, to be fair, if he's watching this, I'll give you some money. I know Keir loves the bag in terms of the money. So I'll pay you £1,000 if you can find this racist rhetoric that you're on about from the opposition parties. The thing I hate about liberal people is that when they can't argue on something and when they can't debate on a point, they always use to the shutdown statement something is racist.
Yeah.
We need a definition of what racism is. In fact, we've already got one, funnily enough. What has Nigel Farage and Reform said that is racist? And what is racist rhetoric? And the Tories.
We should have run it with the face coverage.
I don't get what's racist. Is Reform saying to stop the boats, not allow illegal aliens and illegal invaders within our country that are not culturally aligned, who are coming in illegally, and stopping them from coming in. How is that racist? A country is supposed to have borders.
Yeah.
That's not racist whatsoever. Deporting illegal migrants is not racist. He's came out and said that they want to stop the boats, detain and deport individuals that are illegally in this country. What is racist about that? I don't get that whatsoever with regard to it. Other points that Reform have came up with. Sarah came out with, should we be banning the burqa? Yeah, how on earth is that racist? Many European countries have also decided to ban the burqa in terms of the face veil because it's a security risk. How is this racist? How can this be deemed as racist whatsoever? I hate this. Yeah. And especially with the subject with regard to Islam, you can't be racist to Islam, for God's sake.
Yeah.
bringing up these points where Islam is not the primary religion within our country is absolutely fine. And having a conversation about banning a burqa is also a rightful debate to have when a lot of European countries are following suit at this moment in time. So I'm going to wait on that one.
Yeah.
Please, if there's some liberals watching this, please do help me find these points where Reform and Conservatives are being racist. I hate this argument where they just say stuff and it not being true. He needs to be called out for that. That's not true. They're not being racist. They've not said racist rhetoric whatsoever.
No.
He also needs to quit with saying that he's about patriotic renewal. What does patriotic renewal mean? Kid, everybody hates you within this country. Stop trying to rebrand the term patriotic renewal, patriot, to suit your agenda. You ain't no patriot. Just look at how the veterans feel about you. Just look about what you're doing to the veterans. Just look about what you're doing to armed service personnel. Look what you're trying to do. Drag them through the courts from 30 years ago when they were in a conflict. You are a treasonous, so treasonous,
like the rest
so
of them.
treasonous.
We're all treasonous.
So stop saying that you're patriotic. I absolutely hate when he goes on about doing this. And to the individual there, the brown person, as he calls himself,
brown person,
about feeling unsafe. Have you ever felt how unsafe the women and children currently feel in this country because of what Keir Starmer and Labour are allowing to happen? They're complicit in the illegal invasion of this country. They are not stopping the boats. They do not want to stop these illegal invaders coming into the country. And they've even argued and won to keep more migrants staying at the Epping Hotel. We see the people.
We don't want them there. We don't want them in any hotel. We don't want any of them
women
here.
And children, majority, all congregate outside the Bell Hotel and said that they do not want these individuals
because they don't
in their
feel
communities
safe.
After one of them sexually assaulted a child. Now,
people
due to Labour pushing forward on this and pushing back on this, breaking news, migrants will continue to be housed at the Bell Hotel in Epping after local council loses High Court battle. So tell me, who's fearing for themselves? Because I'm not even going to use the terminology white, because there's also black and brown people that are on the right side of politics, and on the just everyday normal people. I don't like to make it about politics, but everyday people that are scared for their safety because of what the government are currently doing with this illegal invasion, complicit in it. And now they were the main reason as to why asylum seekers can now continue to be housed in the Bell Hotel in Essex after the local council failed to secure a High Court injunction that would block them from living there.
All done on purpose.
You're the reason, buddy.
Yeah, you're the reason, Keir Starmer. Take a look in the mirror, Keir Starmer. You should take a look in the mirror, shouldn't you? All of them are bastards.
Fearing for their safety at this moment in time.
They're putting us all in danger.
Mate. It's
him.
Also, you continue to pander towards Islam at every single point.
Why do you all keep pandering
every single point? Whilst you're pandering to that ideology, and every person in the country can raise questions about it. It's a foreign religion that has been indoctrinated into the United Kingdom, and they're starting to work their way up into high positions
we don't want it, and we don't want any of it.
The Home Secretary.
And we shouldn't have to have it. We don't have to pull it. Bullshit.
Loads of them in high power positions. Yeah. And this is a Muslim MP from over yesterday.
These events, these activity, this unity must grow.
You've got to stone women to death.
Take over, not just parts of Birmingham, but the whole of Birmingham, the whole of the West End.
So yeah, can people be worried?
Yes.
That there is, can they be worried about this?
Yes.
They absolutely have every right to be worried about this. So Keir talking about racism is diabolical.
At all, like in my last video.
He is insane. Racist. And as Patrick Christie said here, as a white person, I've never felt more unsafe in the country I was born in. And he speaks for the majority here. Exactly. And what about the women, how women feel and young girls, no matter what colour they are? I literally just said that. We're all on the same page here. We're all on the same page except from Keir Starmer and his Labour government.
Yeah.
White women and girls in particular, as they know full well how the Pakistani great gangs have been covered up for so long by the authorities.
That's been stabbed and
I live in Birmingham and no longer go out alone.
Just English women, it's all different.
As a white woman in London,
like I said, they're going on that train. How do they know who's on there?
Particularly when we have hostile MPs
the fireworks off the fucking motorway.
Having read this comment
How
section,
do they know who's driving down that road? There could be a Muslim family in a car driving down the road.
Everybody wants to play identity,
gone off the bridge, and it could cause a crash. And they could all die. How do they know?
More and more difficult to be tolerant and compassionate when people are being slaughtered on our streets.
Exactly.
This is the majority
people being
here,
slaughtered, but they couldn't give a fuck about the fucking being slaughtered.
In a small echo chamber.
They couldn't care less about that.
Why
That's why.
Hates you here.
That's why everybody hates Keir Starmer and hates King as well.
Guys, do let me know your thoughts on that. Yes, I went on a little bit of a rant, but it just makes me so angry.
Trying to make it up King Charles in this,
by
but
Keir
it fucking
Starmer.
is.
Hit a like, hit subscribe, and I'll
He's
see
in
you
it as
next
much as
time.
them lot.
Take care.
I will, but make sure this is getting King Charles in it. And here's David freaking Lammy.
Mr. Speaker, on Wednesday the 5th of November, I answered Prime Minister's questions.
Now we've got the bastard Lamb.
As someone who served in this House for 25 years, I take my responsibilities to Parliament incredibly seriously. The House will recall that I was asked repeatedly whether any asylum-seeking offender had been released in error. At that time, I had been alerted of the release of Brahim Kadir Sharif from HMP Wandsworth. Details about the case were still emerging throughout
They never
Wednesday.
say, I take this seriously.
Importantly, my officials had not had confirmation about whether or not he was an asylum seeker. Indeed, it was not until later that afternoon that the Home Office confirmed to the Ministry of Justice that he was not. Given the nature of the opposition's question, I made the judgment that I would wait until I had all the details, rather than risk giving an accurate or incomplete or misleading picture to the House about a sensitive case.
I'm not racist, mate. You never get that off
Members
me. I'm
opposite
sorry.
may argue
But I'll tell you
that
one
they
thing,
would
you're
have
a
handled the
knobhead.
situation differently.
That's that.
All I can do is be open
What I can
about the
say.
factors
You're
I
a
was weighing
fucking
at the
lamb
time,
on the fucking
and that
farm.
the data in the system we inherited is painfully
David
slow.
Lammy is the
I
fucking
thank the
lamb,
Speaker for the
alright.
opportunity to update the House in full today.
Update Panda to fucking Islam.
Members
Carry
will
on.
recall that following
China.
the release of Hadoush Kabatu on the
Update
24th
Panda
of
to Islam
October,
and China.
I put in place stronger release checks. I can
release
confirm
checks
that
with
the error
Islam and
leading
China.
to Mr. Kadir Sharif's release happened in September, before those checks came in. He was charged with burglary at Snaresbrook Crown Court, and a warrant was issued to HMP Pentonville for his remand. Contrary to the set-down process, it was
Why
then
are we
forwarded by
remanding him
email
here in
to
this country
HMP
when he's an
Wandsworth
illegal? Why are we not
when
sending
Mr.
him back to
Kadir
his own
Sharif was
country, sending him to
transferred.
jail there? Why are we not sending these criminals back to their own country so they can go to jail in their own countries? Well, that's what we should be paying for then. Why are we paying for them to stay in this country in our jails? We should pay for them to go to their country in
I'm
their
grateful
jail.
to officers.
Well, we pay enough here, and we don't need any more. We haven't got enough room, we haven't got enough resources, we haven't got enough
I'm grateful
anything.
too to the wider
So we need to
metropolitan
send
police
half of
and the
these
public
people
who
back
assisted them.
to their own places, and we'll pay for them to be in their own jails, and we'll pay for them not to be slaughtered. For fuck's sake. There you go, you know what I mean? Pay for them to have a jail sentence when they're there, in their own country. Sorry, but that's the way it should be. I'm not saying we should let them get slaughtered, I never said that. So I am giving some human rights into it, because I'm making sure people ain't going to get slaughtered, David Lammy. We're going to make sure that they get sent to a jail, and they get sent to a jail there, and they get paid for there, and everything else. Well, then get someone on it to do their job.
But we recognise the public interest in being transparent
That's what
about
I
the
would say.
overall number. It's important to note that this may be revised as additional cases are
But to
subsequently
know that you don't
recorded.
have to let no
But this is
criminals
the
out
very
the jails
latest that I have
for
been
no
provided.
reason. It's important to know that, David Lemmy. Understand this one, Robin. You can deport them back to the jail where they come from. Yeah?
Prison records show
Well, you might as well
none of
pay for that.
these
Instead of
are
paying for
convicted
this.
sex offenders.
Then what was all
I
about
have
then?
been informed, Mr. Speaker, this afternoon.
See, like sex offenders out, burglary people out. I mean, it's not committed burglary, mate. He's not a very nice person. So that's got somebody gone through someone's home or somebody's a property. Yeah, I mean, it could be someone's home. It could be a shop, I don't know, but it's burglary and that's quite bad. Burglary is bad. Stealing, I mean, stealing is quite bad, but burglary is quite bad. You're going through somebody's stuff, you could have found, you could have hurt someone or something.
Case 1 was in prison for failing to surrender to the police and released in error in December.
Yeah, I'm failing to surrender to the police. I've had to go. I always, because I've done that once to the court. I now don't get. If I get arrested, I'm not allowed out the prison, out the police cell until I go to court. I now, I'm very lucky if I get released that night, unless I have to go to court because of that. So why have they been released? Why have they not been sent back to their own country and in jail in their own country? Why don't you build the jail in Bangladesh then? I don't know. Pakistan, the worst place in Pakistan. You know, you at an airport there. Why build a bastard jail there? Yeah, instead of building an airport there, build a fucking jail there. We'll send all these criminals there. Well, it'll be cheaper to build a jail there than it'll be cheaper to build in England. So we might as well pay for the land and build the big jail there and pay Pakistan for it. Yeah, well, why not? Why not? Why don't we do that? Because I mean, that'll make a whole load of fucking sense now, wouldn't it? The people that are coming to the country that aren't committing crime and nobody's being racist, because I'm saying people that are coming to the country that are good, that are not committing crimes, can come and stay here because then we'll have room. But the ones that are coming here illegally and they're committing crimes, mate, we don't want them. We can get rid.
2025. Systems are archaic. Every prisoner
and we're still
sentence
going
is
to have enough
worked out
people in
on
the country. It's not even
considering the type of
getting rid of half of
offence
these
and
criminals.
legislation
We're probably not going to put a dent in the fucking
There are more
population.
than 500 pages of sentence management guidance.
It's like me, I'm going to put a dent in it,
Prison
mate.
officers doing an incredibly important job.
But at least we can start with the criminals. We're saying he's not being racist. So the criminal people, I don't care what colour and race now, fucking go to the jail what we're building, pack your bastard stamp. That's that. I don't care, mate.
Officers were cut by a quarter between 2010 and 2017. That's around 6,000 fewer
And that will
people.
create jobs in Pakistan and they create jobs for people from here to Pakistan.
Which places more pressure on the system, and unsurprisingly,
There you go.
mistakes happen in those circumstances. Indeed, from 2010-11 to the end of 23-24,
You can build a
under the
massive
previous
jail there,
government,
huge.
there were
About 2,000 to 3,000 people.
known releases in error from prison.
3,000 people, that's not even a dent in the population, that's not even a dent.
Knowing
Building
that
a
the
big jail in
person who
Pakistan like
harmed
that,
them is
it's
free,
not
and
3,000
they should be
people,
behind
it's not even
bars.
a dent in the
In the
fucking
worst
criminal
cases,
people
like
that we
William
have.
Fernandez,
Really, is it
back in
3,000 people?
2021,
Yeah, it's not a dent.
prisoners have committed
I was going to say it's not even a
further
dent in it,
horrific
but it's
offences.
a big
I give
start
an
into
unequivocal
it.
apology to all who have faced
At least we've
worry
got some of them
or worse
gone.
as a result of
And we
releases
can clear
from
the jails out.
especially
And then we can
other
have our jails
Shabatu
clear for the
victims
people
who
that
I'm
actually
offered
should
to
be
meet.
fucking jailing
I hope the
them.
right honourable
You know,
gentleman.
and we can start from there on, we can start
Mr.
to clear the
Speaker, I
country
hope
up
the right
slowly.
honourable gentleman
We can
opposite
start to
will join
clear
me
up
in
the
that
country
apology.
slowly. We
To
need to build a
all
few
who
jails
have
around
suffered
in like
because of
Pakistan,
releases
maybe,
in error
you know, the
under
worst
this
place in
and
England, you know.
previous governments.
The worst place in the world.
Mr. Speaker,
Yeah,
human
well,
error
that's what we
always
need to do.
exists, and
We need to
no
build a few good
Justice
jails there,
Secretary
big
could
ones.
prevent every mistake.
3,000
But
one
we
jail,
must
3,000
reduce
in
the
another
risk and
jail.
reverse the trend
That's
over the
6,000.
course of
You
this
know, that's
Parliament.
still not even
But
done
we must
yet.
be honest. The release process
Then we
requires
say
a
about
radical overhaul.
40,000, 50,000 before it's a dent. It's not even making a dent. 50,000
Decisions
is
about
not even
public
making a
statements
dent.
rightly rest with the
The amount
police.
there is.
Issuing details too early could frustrate covert inquiries or put police officers
So you're not
or
doing
the public
shit,
at
mate.
risk.
You're talking rubbish.
These are judgments for experienced operational leaders,
No,
and
I've just said it
parliamentarians
better
must
than
give
you.
them the
What we
space
should be doing.
to make them.
Using the internet
I've just
without
said
a
it.
VPN,
I'm
a
not
virtual
listening to
private
you, mate.
network,
Piss off. I've just said what we should be doing. He's better than David Lammy's ever said this bullshit. He's a bullshitter.
In response. So first,
And why am I
Chair
going
of
to
the
get
new
hacked?
Justice
Who's going to
Performance
hack
Board.
me?
It will give a
What
comprehensive
hackers? The
view of
government.
prisons
The
and
only
criminal
fucking
court
terrorists and
performance,
hackers around here
including
that I know
releases
is
in
the
error,
fucking government,
to drive a
Labour,
step change in how we
David Lammy and the
respond.
rest of them.
The first monthly meeting took place yesterday. Secondly,
No,
I'm making
shit,
sure we understand the issues. Following the
don't
release of
understand
Cabato,
nothing.
I asked Damien Owens to carry out a review. This will conclude by the end of February next year. It will now include the adequacy of data collected and published on releases in error. And we fully expect
We've got a
to
lot to
uncover
do, mate. We've got
additional
build jails
incidents.
everywhere
I
else.
can also announce that we will set up a team of data scientists to review
Well, we could build one in Uganda because we paid for Uganda. Why we don't build big jail there? In Uganda, we could build a big jail there for 3,000 a bit. We'll build a big jail package down for 3,000 a bit. That's 6,000. That's still not even touching. I mean, I'm saying 50,000. I'm bothered, that's only 6,000 we've got jail for. And be that building it and everything as well, yo, but they should have been doing that already. They should be doing that in Uganda already. So they should have started this. They should have been making them homes. They should have been making a fucking jail in Uganda. To send the criminal ones to the jail. So they can go to jail, they're doing crime, whatever, so severely. They're going to a jail and they're going to Uganda, Pakistan or wherever because they ain't going to the jail here. We want to clear them out. We want to get the jails clear. We want all these criminals out of the jails. Literally, mate. I want what? 20% left in the jail. Well, 80% out of the jail gone, mate. So we can basically fill the jail back up. So then we can fill the jail back up. We've got maybe 20% left. And that should be our own people that are in jail for our own murderers. The white people. Alright, the white English people, yeah.
But I will update the House.
The English white people that committed serious crime that should be in jail forever, right? The same thing as anybody else.
Can I just clear something up? And it's not got to happen.
But
first of all, I was told
we've got no more room,
yeah,
in the country. We've got no fucking law.
Bear with me.
No, the law don't, mate. I don't want to bury you, Diesel. Listen, mate, you listen.
Oh, no, it's 10.
It's a load of bullshit.
Then
Yeah,
wasn't
pop
10.
you off.
It was
You
almost
don't
12
care.
minutes. I will work with Minister
You
and
don't
Secretary
work
of
with
State.
anyone. You're a
It is
fucking
10 minutes.
con
If there needs to be an extension,
You're judging.
please ask, don't keep changing the times. Because in the end, it is unfair to shadow ministers when it goes over.
Yeah,
So what I will
and
say
then they
is,
can't get to
you've
ask
got
their
an extra
questions
minute,
because you
you've got an
going
extra
on,
half a
mate,
minute.
and you
But
ain't doing
please,
it right. You know what I
stick to the
mean?
rules of 10. If you do need longer, I am always sympathetic as long as I know in advance. But to have this conversation with the department that it was no longer needed
I know you're wasting
makes your
time, but
department
they don't get a
foolish,
chance to
and it
ask
certainly I'm not
questions,
going to
see?
make me look foolish
It's
in
like a load
the
of
future.
bullshit.
Shall I just-
Lots of fucking bullshit.
So, Mr. Speaker, we're back here again then. At least the Secretary gets some use out of his new suit.
At least we like having use out of it. We're going to say anything
But
good.
where
We're
has
going to build jails,
Wednesday's
mate.
bombast
We're going
and
to get bored with it now,
bravado
so for
gone?
Frank.
Get a grip, man, he thundered
We need to
last
get that
week
fucking
without
borders up
even
now,
a
Frank. Let's
hint
go to
of
war with
irony.
France.
None of that today,
So we
was
stop
there?
them coming
And why
for
is that?
that.
Well,
As once we can stop them
it's
going for
because
France, we
like
stop
increasing numbers
once
of
we stop them
criminals in
coming
our
for
jails,
that,
the
then
Justice Secretary just
we can
doesn't know
build the
whether
jails
he's
which he should
coming
be
or
doing in
going.
Rwanda.
Even his
We're
colleagues
making
in
all this
government
fancy shit
are now turning on him,
building teams of
some
jails
with
in Rwanda.
unbridled
So we
contempt.
could basically
The
send
handling is
6,000 people
terrible,
there
was the verdict
to
of
jail.
a cabinet minister.
6,000 criminals to do
Just
that, for the
rank
jail there. And that would
incompetence.
create job
Cowardly.
Well, it's
Frankly,
going to take jobs for people
pretty
where
dodgy.
everything else is in
Was the
there,
verdict
in Wales.
of another.
Then
Before
we
long,
should
the
do
Prime
the
Minister
same.
will
We
be
say
saying he
Pakistan
has
has got
full
2 big
confidence
jails
in
there,
him.
which is
And we all know what that
6,000,
means. About
6,000.
2 weeks ago, he came to the
3,000
House
3,000
and he
in
said
jail,
he
which
had
is
put in
6,000.
place
That's
the strongest
12,000.
checks
That's still
ever
not cutting
to
the
stop
fucking
releases
amount
in
we've got.
error.
I'm
48
saying
hours
50,000.
later, another prisoner with a history of sex offences was released in error.
I'm saying
7
we've got
days later, a
50,000,
fraudster is
which
let
is
out
more than we've
the
got in the
very
army
day he was sentenced to
hardcore
45
criminals.
months
And more.
inside. And today, he admits
That's
that he's
a
lost
lot. I was going to
another
say that's why we've
prisoner
lost the plot
that
there, because
same
we've got that many
day.
criminals here now,
The
yeah?
Lammy's
We've
lax,
got over...
a whole
I'm
new
going to say
category of
about
criminal who can just
1,000.
waltz out of
So I'm
prison
saying
despite having
50,000
the
we need to get rid
strongest
of, so yeah.
ever
I'm
checks
saying about
introduced by
100,000
this Justice Secretary.
hardcore criminals.
The public are
running
being
about the
endangered
country.
as this
And
circus
possibly more.
rumbles on, week after week, with no
But I'm
end
gonna
in
put
sight. When will he put
an
a stop
average,
to it?
I'm going to put a thing
He can't just
on
hide
about
behind the
100,000.
inquiry that he's
So I'm
commissioned.
saying we need to get
He
rid of
couldn't
50,000.
even get the head of the review,
Which is
Lynn
half of
Owens,
them.
name right,
And more.
last week.
60
Anne
and
Owens.
70,000. We need to
Anne
get rid of.
Owens, he
So we've got
bellowed.
30,000
Well, I looked
left.
her up. And the only Anne
Which is
Owens
then
I could
possibly
find was a
that's
panto
like
performer
manager,
who recently appeared in
manage
Alice in
and
Wonderland.
put him to jail.
Perhaps she was the one who gave him some tips on his
And
performance at the
still having him in
Matchbox
the
last
jail
week.
together to put people
The
into
former
jail.
Chief
Because
Inspector
they've
of
got no
Prisons
room, no jail.
says that this has
You can't put
been
anyone in
caused,
jail.
at least in
And
part,
this is why they're
by the
giving people no time for
confusion
knife crimes
created
and everything
by
else.
Labour's
And
botched
it's just
early
not
release
pulling
scheme.
people and raise people
Does
up.
he
It needs to
now
go past that. It
concede
needs to go
that
past
there is
that
a
and go
link
to the crime.
between the doubling of prisoners accidentally released in the last year and the introduction of their SDS 40?
I mean, those people that did that,
Or is it just an
I think, to be
extremely
honest with you, they got
unlucky
quite a little
coincidence?
time.
Don't take us for fools.
Compared to what he
And
did.
Mr. Speaker, when
I
will
mean,
he
I would have
finally
wanted
come
10
clean?
years for that.
He
10
won't
years
provide
to them
details
for
in
doing
parliamentary
it.
questions.
I
He
don't
won't
care,
answer
because
even
they put
when
that,
he is here
they
for
what they're
Prime
doing, they were
Minister's
English white
questions.
people.
He won't
Right?
respond to letters.
And the thing is,
Well,
I was going to
perhaps
say, and the
that's
thing is, because
they
they
weren't
didn't
addressed to
get,
the
they've got what,
Deputy
2
Prime
years,
Minister.
20 months,
He's now been
3
dragged
years, 4
here,
years.
kicking
4
and
years
screaming
for
to
chopping
admit that
someone's
one
arm off
prisoner
with a
has been on the
machete.
run from this
Beaten
Labour
up
government
in
for
hardcore
14
machetes and
months.
hardcore crime
And
like that.
91
4 years
have
ain't
been
long
accidentally
enough
released
for that
over the
type
last
of
7
crime.
months.
No.
But the Justice Secretary is so
Because they
clueless.
radicalised
He's
him then,
literally
because then all the
lost
Muslims
track
are going to be
of
going
how
doing
many
that to the
prisoners
Binman
he's lost.
and anybody
He
else.
says today a
I mean,
prisoner
don't get me wrong,
may
yeah, they
have
got
been
pissed off with
accidentally
Binman a bit,
released
you know, with the
last
Binman, it's
Monday.
not Binman's
Well,
fault,
has he
it's the
looked?
council's fault.
He's either
It's
in
not
his
the
cell
Binman's
or he's
fault
not.
for doing that.
What a
It's the
complete
council's fault.
and utter
I was going to say,
farce
no,
he's presiding
well,
over.
sometimes they do
As
leave
we
a
all
mess, and I
suspected,
feel like, fuck
the
you,
crisis
But
on
I'm
his
not-
government's watch is
Not
even
because of myself,
bigger
you
than
know,
he dared
whatever, but
admit.
that does
That's
not-
why he wouldn't say
if you're
anything
acting
last week.
aggressive, and that's
Prisoners
it,
are being
and,
accidentally released
a-
nearly
a-
every other
attacking
day
someone
and putting our
brutally
constituents,
attacking
his constituents, at
people.
risk. At this
Exactly.
rate, he's on track for
And I think that
156
they've not
prisoners
got
to be
any-
accidentally released
Yeah,
this
because
year,
they've got no
which would be a
room in the
record.
jail, mate.
Were it not for the doubling
get this
his
right.
government managed to achieve last year under their watch. And in his statement today, he poses more questions than he manages
You've got to
to
get that
answer.
right, yeah. And then
How many
it's not just
crimes
that.
were
How many
committed
times do
by
the
those
people
prisoners
that are working
whilst they were on the
there
run?
have to
Why
get
can't you tell us
sacked by
who
these
these
people?
91 prisoners are? Who is the foreign
How many
criminal?
times do they have to
And
get
who is
sacked?
this
I mean, we're
mystery
not-
fourth offender
We're not talking
he
back in the
may
day when
have
like
lost?
when Dad had a
How
bit of
can
a
he possibly
stage
be
wave,
found
yeah.
if the public don't
And
have his face?
maybe
They don't have his
once
name,
you did
like
get
they did
sacked
for
back
Sharif
then,
and Kabatu. The
bad
public
things did
deserve
go on,
to know
but
the
nowhere
truth.
near like
This
this.
situation could not be
Nowhere
any more
near like
serious.
this. People
There's
need to have a
been a
good fight,
ninefold
good
increase
punch up,
in the
black
number
eye,
of violent
whatever,
offenders
but not being
accidentally
stabbed
released
and
in the
riddled
last
to
year.
death
A
by baseball
ninefold
bats and-
increase.
or cricket
The criminal
net,
justice
whatever
system
it is.
under his watch
You
has
know,
been
whatever.
made to look
They can
a
use
total
bats in it.
mockery.
Yeah, I just-
The public
yeah.
have been put at risk. In
Yeah,
his
we
own
are.
words, Mr. Speaker, it's time for him to get a grip.
It's time for him to
Or
get
go.
out. Get out, all of it. We don't know what we're talking about, even you, mate. I mean, alright, you
This
said
is a
good
crisis
things there, but
that
you're not
we
saying good enough
inherited
things.
in our prison.
None of them are coming up with any fucking plans. Proper plans. No, none of you have got any proper plans.
Because he
You
knows.
need proper plans, David Lammy. You know nothing, because you all need proper plans.
There were 17 prisoners released in error every month. He knows that.
Every month, yeah, every month now.
Because the former Conservative Justice Secretary said on the issue last
17
Friday,
prisoners
we
released
essentially
wrongly every
run
month.
our prisons regime very
How long
hot.
for?
We are very
When
close
then
to
it's,
capacity.
well, if it was before
We have
you
seen a
then,
big
if it was
increase in the
before
prison
Labour, that was
population over the last
Conservative.
20 years.
So how
And
long?
resources have
So
not
that's been going for the last 20
necessarily
years, he's
matched
just
that.
said, 20
That
years.
is the first problem.
20
And
years
another
they've been
former
doing that
Justice
for.
Secretary, Alex Chalk, said part of the issue is we can't hold on to prison officers. Mr. Speaker, this is a crisis that we inherited in our prison system. And it's worthy of sober reflection because he knows, Mr. Speaker, that when they were in government, there were 17 prisoners released in error every month. He knows that. He knows too because the former Conservative Justice Secretary said on the issue last Friday, we essentially run our prisons regime very hot. We are very close to capacity. We have seen a big increase in the prison population over the last 20 years, and resources have not necessarily matched that.
Yeah.
That is the first problem. And another former Justice Secretary, Alex Chalk, said part of the issue is we can't hold on to prison officers without that expertise. Errors creep in. And he himself also challenged their record in office.
You've
So
got
he
no
knows
room to start
that
on
this
fucking
is a
truth.
cross-party issue that, of course,
All of
we
them
have
are
to
lying,
agree.
all of you
Now,
are
I
lying
said
because
that
you're
I
all
put in
lying,
place
David.
those checks,
I'm
and I
telling the
stand
truth,
by
all of
the
you,
checks that I put
that
in.
there
I
is no
also said
fucking
in my
go.
statement, I also said in my statement that the cases that we are uncovering, many of them occurred before those checks were in place, and another case involved an error that was in the court system, and that's why this new query process is very important indeed. And it is the case that we had to introduce SDS 40, and he knows why that's the case, because his government, just in the last few months in office, made 3 different changes.
Short on jail, so why are you doing that? Built to there, in Rwanda, built to in fucking Pakistan. You want a fucking airport that you can use this thing and build a fucking back jail.
In 14 years
build
in
one in
office,
Afghan. I don't give a fuck.
and we've pledged
Build one where you can.
14,000 by 2031.
And that's where we're going.
He also knows, like night follows day, if you cut off
even the ones down to Burma that go into the other jail in Pakistan are fucking Yolanda for doing that. So we can cut the crime down as well. And when people realise they get proper punishment for the crime they will stop doing it, and we'll also use the assisted dying bill, which is like the death penalty, but it's not called the death penalty, it's called the assisted dying bill.
Really, really important. I put in place the digital team because he knows also that this is a system based on human beings.
Anyone that radicalises and stabs someone, anyone that radicalises and rapes someone and they die, if they die, then we you're using the assisted dying bill. Yes, use the assisted dying bill, we should do. It's not called the death penalty anymore, it's called the assisted dying bill. And that's what we should use for him. That's what should have been used for this cunt right here.
A very disturbing and dark story has emerged.
Why would you deport back to Uganda when we paid for that? They're from Uganda, we paid for Uganda, we did deport them back to Uganda, why not?
We all have heroes,
There's a
we
good
all have
question.
role models, but these teenagers have seriously chosen the wrong one.
Yeah, well,
Police
I've
were
had
able to follow this information and to
but
make
that
links
ain't
to
made me a
these two boys.
paedophile, does it?
And these attacks were planned to be up and down the country.
I've had role models.
However, police were quick enough to intervene.
I've been trafficked all
Don't
my
you
life,
think
that doesn't make me
the
fucking bad
justice system,
person.
you're not going to believe the consequences and punishments that these two teenagers have been served. Yes, they're terrorists, right?
I'm not a terrorist, I'm
Let's see what the
nice
article goes
person.
on to
I'm
say.
not nothing like
Welcome
that.
on
I'm
to
never
True
going
Red
to
Media.
harm
The channel
anyone.
speaks the truth, exposes the truth, and lives the truth, and the truth
Yeah,
must be
I'm
heard. And
in
the
it.
truth is this: once
I'm
again, the
not
justice
racist
system
or
has
anything like
failed.
that. I
These
just
judges
don't
have failed.
agree
They
with all
have
this
given
crime,
some
like you
of
say.
the weirdest, lenient sentences
And the way
to
they're
two
doing
boys
it.
who are planning terrorist-style attacks. I don't care what age you are. A terrorist is a terrorist.
Yeah.
Someone who uses threats and
Yeah.
terror like they were should be apprehended for a long time behind bars.
No, they should
This
be
is
stuck
disturbing.
behind
This is
bars,
sickening.
mate.
We're going
You
to
should
get
not
into
just
this
be
one.
sending them
Make
behind
sure you
bars.
subscribe
You
to the
need to
channel
send
on the
them out
road
to
to
the country.
19,000
You
subscribers.
should have
It's
sent him
unbelievable
back to
scenes. And
Uganda
welcome
with
back
his
anyone
parents
who's new.
and put him in
Smash the
jail.
like
Let
button
it pay for
if
that.
you think these
We
boys
pay
should
for
be
Uganda
sent behind bars for a
to
very,
put the
very
illegal
long time.
immigrants there.
Get in the comment
Now,
section and let
he's
me know your
there from
thoughts on
Uganda,
this
his
one.
parents.
So
why
here we go.
not
Let's get
use
into some of the
that?
breakdown
Well,
details
we
first
pay
and
for the
foremost,
deals.
so you
Why
can
don't
form
we
your
use
opinion on it.
that?
I'll give you then
At
some
least
more
if it was
info.
just one person,
Two
at least if it was just
unnamed
him, and
teenagers
then
arrested for planning Southport style
alright, but it's
attack.
a fucking
The
start.
boys
of
16 and
being
17
one
cannot be named
set.
due to their age, but they allegedly plan to attack a dance school. Neither teenager is facing terror charges
No,
because prosecutors do not see attacks on school kids or misogynic violence
a
as
terrorist attack.
ideological.
Well, it is a terrorist
Interesting.
attack, isn't it?
Interesting. Considering who they were planning to copy, they don't see it as ideological.
So they
Let's
were planning
continue.
to copy
It comes
him
just a
now.
month after another teenager from South Wales talked
Because
about
they got away
copying
with it.
Rida Kawamba in attack. He had a note detailing which areas he planned to
Because he
attack.
got away
The
with it,
teenager
that's
later
why.
pleaded guilty and will be sentenced in January. I think it's in the public's interest for us to know the ethnicity of these would-be terrorist scumbags. The authorities' failure to do so shows they have something to hide.
Hi, because they're doing it.
And there is our first starting point. No ethnicity, no background. Now, we all remember with the Southport killings, we all
They're
remember
fucking in it. They're
how
the
they
ones that are
labelled him.
creating it.
A Welsh choir boy, a Welsh citizen. Then the truth came out.
Radicalisation.
Then the truth came out about his father. Then the truth came out about how Keir Starmer was one of those lawyers who actually brought his father here to this country, even though he was basically facing genocide
There
sort
you go.
of type punishment in his own country.
There you go.
The fact that this boy had been
So we
referred
shouldn't
to
have been
prevent
brought
3
here
times,
in the
fact
first
that
place.
this boy
The
had a
father, there
violent
you go.
background at the age of 17
His
and was being
father
expelled from schools.
was a criminal
If it
fucking
wasn't for the
Uganda.
teacher being scared
That's
to
why they
racist.
won't
Yeah,
send him
the
back to
plot continues.
Uganda.
And we've got
Well, then
another
we're happen criminals.
couple
Simple
here,
as
haven't
it
we?
goes.
We've got another couple
Send
of
him
interesting
back
ones
as a
here. Now,
criminal.
let me give
Uganda
you
already. He
some
should
of
be
the
sent
details.
back
Uh,
to Uganda.
that I
Already?
can get into about this because
He's already, his father
this,
was. He
this
should
is
never
really
been born
painful,
here, the
this
kid.
is really painful. So
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
look at this, people, of more of the
All
graphic
of them,
details of this
mate.
case. Okay, so
They're all in
Claire,
this
as it
together.
says here,
All of them.
have instead been charged.
And King Charles,
with
because he was
relatively
moaning about
minor
the Uganda
offences.
plan. King bastard Charles, what was
It
he
comes as
whining for?
referrals to the
What
Prevent
was King Charles so
Deradicalisation
concerned
Programme
about
with
the
no
illegal
ideology
immigrants going to
have
Uganda
risen
for when I
steeply
looked
over
it
the
up?
last year
Cost
and now
about
make up
8
more
grand
than
to
half
10,
the proportion.
15 grand,
Although
20 grand for
statistics
me to
reveal
go
that
to
only 7% of
Uganda.
them
I could
offer
only dream of afford to be able to go in there.
Southport
I
killer.
can't afford to ever go there.
Was turned
I'd
down by the
love to be able
programme
to
3
go there
times.
to the
That's crazy as
safari.
well.
In
That's
Uganda.
crazy. I would just
love
mention
it.
that
I'd
as well,
love to
didn't I?
go to the wild
He was
safari
17 when he
and
murdered
and
these
stuff.
3
I love
girls,
things
and
like
their names shan't be
animals
forgotten.
and
Bebby
that.
King,
But this is
Elsie
what
Dodd
he's done, and then he
Stankham,
won't
and
send them
Alistair
back
Silver,
because he was a criminal
Aguero.
in Uganda.
In a
Wow,
knife attack,
yeah,
Taylor
happering the
in Dark
criminals,
House.
yeah. King
Okay, and he
Charles
was
as
later
well.
jailed for life.
King
Correct.
Charles was complicit with half-being
And the
the
first phase inquiry
criminals
took
because he
place
was the
on
one
Friday after examining
concerned
missed opportunities
about
to prevent
illegal
the attack and the
immigrants
lack
being
of
sent
security
to
advice to
Uganda.
out-of-school clubs. There is
It's
no
not
date for the
about
second
that, it's
phase,
about
which will consider whether
money.
police, social services and mental health services were equipped to deal with the risks posed by young
And the
people
immigrant
who have
safety, but
fixation
not
with
about our
acts of
safety.
extreme
Look,
violence.
not
Neither of the
about
young
his
men who
little
were
girl's
recently
safety,
charged
not
can be
about
named
my
because
little
of their
girl's safety,
ages.
not about my own
But
safety,
one
not
was
about anybody's
from
safety.
South Wales and the other is
Not
from
about our own
Merseyside.
men, not about anybody's safety, our own
The first
men,
copycat
the old
case
ladies,
involved
anybody's
the
safety,
7-year-old,
apart from the
17-year-old
illegal
thought of
immigrants.
emulating
Apart
a
from
Rubicon
like them from
conducted research
Uganda,
into obtaining
which
large
he
knives.
was a criminal in
Police
the
found a
first
note
place.
saved on the use phone headed
Which we already
Places to
said.
Attack, which included images of a dance school near his home.
Yeah.
Location data on his phone suggests that he'd been close to the school a few days earlier. He'd also researched
Yeah,
other
he
potential
planned to do
targets,
it. Yeah, I
including
said
his
he
own
planned
school,
to do
and
it.
told others on Snapchat of a planned attack to attack the first Oasis reunion concert in Cardiff.
I said
He has
that.
pleaded guilty to a single charge of possession of a document useful for terrorism,
Mm.
for which Ridikamba received an 18-month sentence and is due to be sentenced in January. The case has been adjourned for psychiatric reports amid concerns that he suffers from autism spectrum disorder,
Don't give a
the
fuck.
same
He said
neurological
it back to
condition which
Uganda.
affected
Our problem.
Ridikamba. So we've got the mental health case,
Yeah. Oh, well, right. So you've got your
autistic,
mental health case, autistic.
can't
So so we can put him use the assisted dying bill. Thank you. Can you use the
it seems
assisted
the case,
dying
doesn't
bill
it? The
for
mental
that?
health card comes
If you've
in
got
to
that
say
mental
when
health
someone
card like
has
that
done
bad,
something
then they
like
could
that.
choose to use
Or
the
plans
mental
to do
health
something like
card.
that. To lenient the
They
sentence,
could choose to
make it a little
use
bit
the
less
assisted
of a
dying bill
painful
with someone
blow.
with mental
But
health.
I'm not having it.
That is
You know
severe.
how
They
the
can put
research
them to
like.
sleep.
If you
You
know
can sign
how
for
to
the
plan an
assisted
attack,
dying bill,
if
put
you're
them to
looking at
sleep.
targets, if you're scouting out those
Thank
targets,
you. No, you
you
can't.
know what
We're
you're
using
doing.
the assisted
You know
dying
what
bill
we're
for
doing.
that. Use the
17
assisted
years
dying
old
bill.
as
We
well,
don't
let's not
send
mess
back to
around
no,
here.
we don't.
Old
Not
enough
the
to know
person
what
that's
they're
done it. I think
And
we
then
should
in
send
the
the parents
second
back to
case,
Yolanda. The parents
the
go back to
teenager from
Yolanda. They've already
Merseyside
paid for
allegedly
that.
planned to attack the
So the
Taylor
parents
Swift
can
themed
go
event
back to
wearing a green
Yolanda
hoodie in the
with their
same
other
way
son.
as actor
Right?
Kwamba.
With their other son.
The
Sorry.
youth had allegedly visited Southport,
Right.
collected knives, researched the Taylor Swift themed event, and downloaded the same Al Qaeda manual used by Kwamba to produce the poisoned Russo.
Yeah,
They
he's going
researched
to
high
do
school
the Taylor
shootings and
Swift conflict,
misogynistic
which I've
incels
already
and
said
considered an attack on his
before.
old school after dropping out.
I've already said that before.
The second youth was arrested in August and has also been charged with possession of documents useful for terrorism, along with a charge of making threats to kill, and is due to enter pleas next month.
People involved.
So we go
it was
back
terrorist.
to that statement. These two boys, very clear, light as day, are terrorists.
Yeah.
There's
They're
no
all
one again will
terrorists.
convince me otherwise. They're terrorists.
Yeah.
They plan terror attacks.
Yeah.
But we
And
don't
they're all
have
terrorists.
any information on their background,
No.
their ethnicity,
No.
their upbringing,
No.
refugees, migrants.
No. Illegals.
We don't know.
They're illegal.
But what we do know is they tried to obtain knives, they've targeted certain areas in which they want to attack, and they've made it very clear they wanted to target their old schools as well. And
they will attack anybody. There you go.
It's clear as day.
Clear as day.
Yeah, these two teenagers will be probably given a very light sentence, have all sorts of cards thrown their way to deal with it, and probably be out on our streets again in a couple of years' time, planning exactly the same.
Yeah.
And we wonder why this country has an epidemic. We wonder why. When these judges are saying, and I'll quote again, that they can't face terror charges because prosecutors do not see attacks on school kids or misogynistic violence as ideological. They don't see it as a terror-related. And I just want to say one more time, remember that Tommy Robinson just recently was charged as a terrorist for not giving his PIN code to his mobile phone.
Well, yeah, Tommy Robinson,
for being linked to certain political parties. Crazy. What a stupid, crazy world we live in.
Yeah, you could be charged for being a terrorist for that, but not for anything else to do harm to people. Thank you very much for that. That'll go with my video, what I've just been saying. Thank you. From Caroline Poynton, from Bury, Manchester.